Okay. I'm here. You there? What's up? Jump on here quick. Nice to see you. What's going on? How we doing? Y'all doing all right? There's a hi. Pam Hammer 125 said hi. A bunch of the waves. Oh, well, thank you, North Copeland. I have not. I don't hear those sorts of compliments about very often. But that's. It's nice to be appreciated for my chiseled features and rugged good looks. You have beautiful eyes. Figure I'd give you the close-up. Okay. I will wait another minute. Wait another minute like I've done before. Let more people get on here. Oh, pour sauce. You can't forget that handle, pour sauce. Okay. Wait another minute. Then we'll get the party started. Yes, I skipped last week. Got very busy. Didn't have time to do this. Quite frankly, didn't have time to prepare anything. And if I'm being brutally honest, thought about not doing them anymore. But when I say not doing them, I mean these sort of Wednesday Instagram lives that I've been doing since the beginning of the pandemic. But I got, I got a couple of nice emails from people who basically explained to me what they've learned. Oh, there are a bunch of fucking squirrels out there. They're like going crazy. Sorry. I got a couple of nice emails from people who basically were telling me, hey, I've learned a lot. You've been helpful to me when you do these, and so thank you. Please keep doing them. And so I'm back again, and it's turned into this sort of weekly deal. Anyway, so here we are. We are here on August 19th, right? August 19th, 2020. I'm exactly 8 weeks away from my birthday. Not that I tend to not make a big deal out of them. Okay, so I think it's time. The class. Let's begin class, shall we? Anyway, really quickly before I start, please jump on my email list. If you go to howardsherman.com and you click contact, hit the subscribe button, enter your email address. That's the best way to stay in touch. I want to say one other thing regarding the emails I got from people is the people on my email list, some of them I've known them for decades in person. Many of them before the pandemic, I'd see them 3 or 4 times a week, kind of crazy. There's other people I've never met before, but I got some nice emails from those people, and that was really great. And I highly recommend y'all getting on my email list. It's a great way to stay in touch and communicate with me one-on-one, not so much through social media. And you get a heads up and a sneak preview of what I got going on before other people find out too. So please take the time to get on there. And also you can look up all of these, or almost all of these previous Instagram live talks. I've posted them on my website as well. If you go to howardsherman.com, live from the studio is the button. So you can jump on there and watch those. Hopefully there's some helpful hints in there amongst all the other rambling and stuff. I'm on here trying to help. I might do a little bit of shameless self-promotion at the front and get a little aggravated by annoying questions at the back, which many people probably find very entertaining. But in the middle, there's usually a golden nugget or two that is of helpful or valuable to the people who take the time to watch and tune in. A reminder is that I've been doing these at noon United States Central Time every Wednesday. I love to see people jump on here live where you get all the action without having to wait for me to get around to uploading them or scrolling through them, that sort of thing. Feel free to share them if you want at a later date. Feel free to tell people about them. I think that some of the things that I talk about on here are useful not just to artists or art world people, but to other people too. So tell all the hookers you know, and the drug dealers, and the pimps, and the hoes, and the dentists, and the doctors, and the accountants, and the postal service workers while we still have them, et cetera, right? So hopefully they can get a lot out of it. Okay, we'll keep it short and sweet today. So here we go. I'm not going to talk today about aesthetic philosophy or visual ideas or breaking down one of my own pieces of artwork or anything like that I've talked about in the past. I'm going to keep it a little bit more open-ended. And I know that I've got a lot of beginning artists who are on here, and some of you have emailed me, and I can tell by our conversations in email that there's a lot of beginners on here, a lot of people following me because they've followed my work and that kind of thing. So I want to talk to you today about the topic of success, and as in a couple of these other these Instagram lives, squirrels are crazy. Sorry. That's probably a good sign, right? They're barking at each other and laying around, and it's for me to see. And anyway, so I'm talking about success, and I think that I'm going to paraphrase a few thoughts from the Jerry Saltz book on how to be an artist regarding this topic, and I'm going to add a few of my own little thoughts about it. It's going to be pretty brief, but I think it's stuff that'll be useful to you. There's Derek on here. What's up, Derek? And I saw your email. I'll get back in touch with you soon. I've just been a little slammed. I got a show coming up and all that. So anyway, success. I think that there's different ways to measure success. And I think that success is actually a topic that's been on my mind. Maybe I'm talking to you today about this because it's been something that I've been thinking about a lot these recent months, these last couple of years for different reasons. And which I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but I want to talk to you today about success and how you define success. And again, I'll be paraphrasing a little bit from some notes I took off the book I read, but I do want you to keep these things in mind. I think first and foremost, I think the best way for you to measure success is time. Time is the best measure of success, and how you use your time is crucial. If you're an artist, I think that you should really keep that in mind. And I think that what the goal should be for you as an artist is to get to a point where maybe you're not working 5 days a week. Maybe you're squirrely enough to find a way to work 3 or 4 days a week, and you take the extra time that you're not spending at that day gig that you dread in the studio. So you've got to take the time. Time is a precious commodity you've got. It's not money. You've got to keep buying back that extra time in the studio. That's exactly what I've always done. Buying back more time in the studio. Finding ways to buy back the time in the studio. Here's what happens. A lot of y'all get to that 2 or 3 day a week gig. I know people who are like this, and they fucking squander the extra time. Okay? And it shows in the work. Don't be that person, okay? It's always about buying back more time in the studio and use the time wisely. I'll repeat myself to the point of redundancy like a broken record. Don't squander the time. It's the most precious commodity you've got. I have a question for you. If you married someone rich, would you be happy with just the money? Ask yourself that. what about recognition for your work? What about community of other artists around? Or if you're a dentist, what about your dental community, your fellow dentites? That's not dentites, but I just made that up. What about making work that lasts? Think about all that. Then people will say things about happiness, like, what about being happy? Well, there are a lot of successful people who are very unhappy out there in the world, and there are a lot of happy people who are not very successful. I know both. I'm sure that you do too. You got to remember, and this is another important one along with buying back more time, you've got to remember to just be very grateful for what you've got. Especially right now. I mean, my gratitude's been going through the roof, especially during these last 8 months and specifically these last 6 months during the pandemic, So take a moment to be grateful and take a moment to think about how you're spending your time. According to Salt's book, and I think there's a point to this, success and happiness, he says success and happiness live on opposite sides of the track. I mean, that's true. You got one side of the street with successful people and another side of the street with happy people, and they don't always go together. I'm sure that there's situations where they do, but, it's not always the case. You're going to have crappy jobs you hate. You got to suck it up. You're going to have all kinds of things you got to do that are uncomfortable. You're going to have to suck it up. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want to buy back more time to be in the studio making great work or working towards making great work? I think it's important for y'all to remember that, okay? You just always want to be buying back more time to do your work. And the bottom line is, in order to get to this, is you got to be resourceful. So if you've got one of those 5-day-a-week gigs that you hate, how do you get it down to 3 days or 4 days? And how do you spend more time in the studio? The more time you spend in your studio in a bona fide investigation of what you're interested in, the easier it's probably going to be to deal with those other days where you have to work. And now, here's the part that's a real reality check, and I'm going to tell you this from experience, okay? Most of y'all are not going to make a living off your work. You've got a romantic notion about that. And for many of you, it's just not going to happen. In some cases, that might actually be a good thing. I'm very fortunate. I've been able to make a living off my work, but making a living off my work has required a lot of work, a lot of hard work, and a lot of sacrifice. There are a lot of people out there who don't want to do that. They're going to want more comfort. And I'm not judging anyone for that. I'm not criticizing anyone for that. But I'm just saying, a lot of y'all have this romantic notion about living off your work, and it's not going to happen. Just statistically speaking, it's not going to happen. And there's a lot of sacrifices that generally come into play with artists of all levels that many people don't want to make, and they don't want to make those sacrifices in order for that to happen. And the bottom line there is, as much as you want to talk about all of these day jobs and logistics in the world that you have to deal with in order to get in the studio and make the work and make the time, it still always starts and ends with the work. And there's always going to be some work, some of it's really great, interesting work, that just doesn't resonate enough in the quote-unquote marketplace in order for that to happen, okay? So you got to remember, it's not always a reflection on the quality of what you're making. We live in a society and cultures where things are qualified and quantified in a certain specific way, which doesn't necessarily have anything to do with really great inventive ideas, creative ideas. So you got to remember that as well. Most of you aren't going to make a living off of it, but that's okay too. I'm very grateful to be able to do that. I'm very grateful to be in complete control of my time, but it's a hard-fought battle that has required. I'm not going to even get into all of that now, but it's a hard-fought battle, and there's a lot of people who find other ways to get there that are a little bit more comfortable or stable or well-rounded. Anyway, that's really what I wanted to say. And if you are one of these people, which is most people, where you're working 3, 4, 5 days a week at something else, the days you have off, the 2, 3 days you have off, the 4 days off, should be spent working on your art. That's the bottom line. Excuse me for the hiccup. That's what I have to say today. I will now take, I hope that helped. A lot of it, like many other things, are pretty straightforward and somewhat obvious, but a lot of times we all need to hear those. And sometimes it's not always what you say, but how you say it and who says it, which I've learned myself. So I think that what I just said was of value and helpful. And it's actually nice to shake it up a little and talk about a different topic. Okay, hope that helped. I will now take questions. And I know that it'll take a minute for y'all to come through with those. In the meantime, think of something good. Do not ask me how long it takes me to make something, or just what's the other one that fucking drives me crazy? What's my inspiration? Don't ask me what my inspiration is, and don't ask me how long it takes to make things. I'm not going to answer you. In fact, I might tear you a new one. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to tear anyone a new one. I'm trying to be all about the love. Well, maybe I'm not trying to be all about the love, but I'm not going to be a total asshole about it. Okay. Questions are coming in. I think I'm going to take a seat, put on my thinking cap, and let's see what I can find here. Ooh. Give me a minute, people. Just give me a minute. I got to scroll through these and... Okay. Oh, this guy, I think I missed a comment or whatever the other day or yesterday. Lose book addiction _and_art. What glue do you use over acrylic paint when pasting cutouts? Okay. You've been asking, yeah. I use acrylic medium. I'm not using glue. I'm using acrylic medium. You use matte medium, gloss medium. Acrylic medium is what I use. I know you've been wanting to know that for a while now. I finally got you there. Thank you, North Copeland, for the thoughtful note. I appreciate it. North Copeland. Okay. You a girl? North Copeland? Anyway, I shouldn't have said that. Emil _Brandstrom, any thoughts on letting buyers influence your art? I'm going to let you think about that and answer that yourself. I think you know the answer. I think you know the answer to that question, okay? Actually, I'm going to say something about that, okay? I'm not going to answer that question directly, but I'm going to say something about that. I think that in the real world that we live in, that all kinds of ugly truths can occur, and you've got to be very careful with how those truths isn't the right term. I think a lot of influences can occur, and you got to be very careful about how those influences influence you. Dead _bicycles. I love that handle. Dead bicycles. Do you work on pre-stretch canvases or stretch after? I do both, and then I actually do assemblage. I do assemblage pieces. I do assemblage pieces which aren't meant to be stretched too. So dead bicycles. There's over the years I've done a lot of artist residencies where you go away for a month or two or a few weeks and you do these residencies, and at those, in several cases I was in the zone there where I did want to make larger paintings, and what I did when I was away was I would stretch canvas really tight on the wall, and I would mark it off where I'm going to stretch it later, and then I'd make the painting, roll the painting up, put it in a tube, ship it home, and make a stretcher or have a stretcher made at home and have it stretched there. I would do that a lot. Yeah, and then when I'm in my regular studio, I'm normally working on stretch paintings if I'm making that kind of painting. And then, of course, I do these assemblages, which you can look at on my website, which are not meant to be stretched. I hope that helped, Dead Bicycles. I really like your handle, your name. Emil_Brandstrom, a high-profile person bought art. I think you wrote bought art for me some time ago, and it completely paralyzed me. Thanks for your input. Okay, well, you need to ask yourself why that paralyzed you, and maybe you should have been happy about that, right? Maybe you should have been happy about that. Why would that paralyze you? That should probably excite you, I would think. Okay, Nigel.Rogers.art. Here's sort of a professional practices question, I guess. What are the different functions of Instagram and websites, as in, are they different in their purpose? Yes, just by their very nature. And I think that if you since you're on Instagram right now, you can see that Instagram is not a website, and a website is not Instagram. Okay, and then look at a really good website. Look at my website, actually. I think it's organized pretty cleanly and well. There's obviously features and functions on my website that aren't available on Instagram, and there's things about Instagram that aren't available on the website. I actually have an Instagram link as well as other social media links on my website. So Nigel.Rogers.art, another question which I actually think you probably know a lot of the answers to already. Just by the nature of your question, the fact that you're on here. But go visit my website, look closely at everything I've got going on, and then come back to Instagram and look at the way it's organized, and you can start to very obviously see the differences and the similarities. One is not a substitute for the other. A lot of people don't want to take the time to build a website, and they should. I think there's internationally famous artists who may not feel the need for a website, and I think they even need a website, even if they don't, for a lot of different reasons. Okay, I hesitate to get into professional practices advice on Instagram. I could teach a class in that, and but I'm not going to. I don't have the time. Okay. North Copeland is back again. In the early days, did you ever consider giving up? Yes, I can. North Copeland, this is fucking hard. It's hard. I consider giving up all the time, and I just don't. I think that that's part of it. If you're a human trying to do something different. You know, you can actually talk to business entrepreneurs or anyone trying to blaze their own path or start something or build something or create something. You can read lots of biographies. They don't just necessarily need to be artists, North Copeland. They can be whomever. And, you're always going to have a passage or two in there about when they thought about giving up. Yeah, it's hard. So that's bound to happen. I hope that helped. Caparisso1, go visit my website before you start asking these questions. Arts and Pups. Hi from Moscow. Hey Moscow. Hey Russia. How about exhibition in Russia? Are you asking me if I want to do an exhibition in Russia? I don't really know what that means. I don't really know much about the Russian art market. I would imagine it would be more focused in some place like Moscow or St. Petersburg. I know very little about about the art scene there. I don't know. I would imagine a lot of the wealthier art collectors. I'm making an assumption here. I would imagine a lot. I could be completely wrong, but I would imagine a lot of the wealthier art collectors there are spending a lot of their art collecting money in, or at least they were in London and New York, and not in Moscow. But who the fuck knows? That's a assumption. I could be wrong. A lot of them are living abroad too, part of the time. The billionaires, the shady billionaires. Okay. I can't answer all of these questions. Dead Bicycle, I don't know whose he is. I don't know who you're talking about. I don't use, if you're referring to me, I don't use ammonia. But maybe you're talking about somebody else. I don't really know what you're talking about. Nicholas Cepedes, do you work, what is this? Do you work your bigger pieces with sketches or start on the canvas directly? I sketch into them, but I don't really make preliminary sketches before I do anything. I just start making work. I don't do preparatory sketches, if that's what you mean. Okay, so anything else? Any other goodies? Anything else? Did I miss some? I don't know. Okay. I hope that helped. And I think that I'm going to take a walk over here. All right. Boom, chakalaka laka boom. I think that's it for today. I hope that helped you. If you have questions or anything, send me an email and we'll talk. All right. Bye-bye.